Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'd love to see him.
It's almost like legacy of like the NFL versus.
But I definitely think that Baker could be a really good player for the Panthers moving forward.
Did I say Oreos?
There's a lot of questions I have about Mahomes. Looks like a kid playing Madden.
Turning point in the game is the 13-second drive.
They play very hard, even though they're terrible.
He's a good pick. You for sure. He's going to be a good player. But I can't argue against the Jamar Chase pick.
They made moves saying we're going to win this year, at least get into the playoffs.
I'm going with my guy, Corey Seager. So glad.
What's good, y'all? My name is Austin Drummond, and I play rugby for the University of Notre Dame. And you're listening to the Outside Opinion with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week. Yes, the playoffs are going on, but some teams did not make the playoffs, and so, of course, that focuses on the draft more. And we have the draft lottery, Austin, and I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, the Leafs, whether you like it or not, are going to be picking first. I know as a Vancouver fan, you would have hoped that Gavin McKenna would be your player to draft, but you only get pick number 3. The Maple Leafs had an 8.5% chance, or a little over 8.5% chance, I think, or somewhere around there, percent chance of getting the number 1 pick. They had a higher probability of losing their pick to the Bruins at either pick 6 or 7 than getting their top 5 pick or receiving the pick that they were originally going to get at any of those picks above, because they were going to have to trade it. So now that draft pick is moved to 2028, that they're going to have to trade to Boston unprotected. They also don't have their unprotected first next year. So they don't have their picks for the next 2 seasons after being one of the worst teams in the East. And I mean, if they lose their pick this year, if they got pick 6 or 7, and then next year, obviously the 2028 draft, they would have their pick, but it'd be brutal because Matthews may want to leave. Now Matthews may want to stay. And this is a situation where the Leafs may have a much quicker rebuild than being one of the worst teams and to kind of turn this around. They're on an opposite trajectory. That's the second pick, which is the Sharks, who are on the way up and still get the second pick. But the Maple Leafs take advantage of having the luck of the draw, and they get their second first overall pick since 1985, because in 2016 they took Austin Matthews. But it looks like McKenna is going to be a Maple Leaf, and whether he can have some success that we haven't seen in the prior years. But after 9 straight playoff appearances, the Maple Leafs are picking first.
Yeah, and from what I'm reading, the executive advisor of hockey operations said it was a great pick, but he hasn't had a chance to discuss the draft with Shaka, who was also just hired. So it looks like the Maple Leafs kind of restructured the front office.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, because it was bad, but I do agree with you. It is like they could be pretty good pretty quickly, even though they are going to miss a couple of their picks. But that's where it gets funny. Toronto kind of had this resurgence and kind of was this team that was playing so well in the regular season, and then just couldn't win in the playoffs. They trade, well, it wasn't like a trade, but it was kind of like a forced let go of Marner. Yeah, Marner goes to Vegas.
Yeah, it was a trade. They got nothing for him, which is kind of, or I guess it wasn't. Yeah. They got something for him, but
it was kind of like
it was a sign and trade that was, I don't know. They had zero power in. At least they got something out of it, but it wasn't very much. And Toronto's a team that, again, they don't know what's going to happen with Matthews. Matthews may want out. He has 2 more years on the contract. Obviously, they don't want a Marner situation, but to have a 2-time 60-goal scorer, one of the best goal scorers in the Leafs history, if not the best, paired now with Gavin McKenna, I mean, there's a lot more questions to answer than just who's going to be the number 1 pick for the Leafs, but it's a great start for an organization that's trying to reset rather quickly.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty nice to fall into that, which to me, Toronto did. And yeah, McKenna, it's kind of a debate between McKenna and it's McKenna, and then who's the second person? I was just reading about it, or no? Oh, it's Ivor Stenberg.
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to remember his name.
So
But
it could be
I
a
still think
forward.
McKenna probably goes. I mean, I think there's like a 90% chance that McKenna goes one. He played well last year. He's had a lot of great seasons, but I think that, I mean, and the Sharks move up 7 picks. So there's only 2 teams that get moved at all, I believe, by the draft lottery. And it's everybody else just moves down a couple. So it's only 2 teams have the potential of moving up, and 2 teams did. The Leafs went up 4 picks from 5, where they had a chance of moving down. Obviously, they didn't move up. So the Leafs were almost certainly, unless the top 2 picks were exactly the same order of Vancouver and then Blackhawks. If that was not the order at the top, then the Maple Leafs lose their pick. So now, obviously, they move up, and the Sharks move up, and the Sharks have looked really good this past season. They continuously have taken advantage of the young guys on the roster and kind of building for the future. And now they get another top pick where, I mean, the Sharks looks like in 2 or 3 seasons, like they could be serious cup contenders.
Yeah, they've had a lot of picks recently, pretty high. I think they did get number 1 pick a few years ago. Or no,
Yeah.
no, they.
Oh, they did.
Oh yeah, they had Celebrini,
Yeah.
and then Michael Misa, and then they had Will Smith a few years ago. So this is another one where I'm curious. You could get McKenna or Stenberg, kind of depending on which one falls. It's probably Stenberg, but there's also some great defensemen in the draft. So it pairs well for the Sharks, who are doing well. And then Vancouver, as you mentioned, they had the highest odds, but didn't get it. And it goes to the other NHL team in another popular team in Canada. So we'll have to see what happens. But it does get to like, okay, Toronto, like major fan base. Are there jokes? I may not be on the right side of the internet. Jokes about kind of maybe the NHL rigging it so the Maple Leafs get it.
Oh yeah, there definitely has been some of that, but I don't see it necessarily, but I understand those jokes. I think it is. It's funny to joke about the Leafs. It really is because of the situation they've been in, and we're just gonna have to see, do they take advantage of this first overall pick, or are they going to be more like a Matthews situation where you get a number 1 guy, but you don't have the necessary pieces around him or the right coaches or whatever is the reason you want to say they haven't won a cup yet. But the pressure for Toronto is going to continue to rise because this only adds fuel to the fire.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to see. But yeah, it'll be a fun draft night and a fun draft episode for us. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.